Caught me at a moment, huh? Caught me at a moment. Anyway, it is I, Rathco of Rathco and Disco, wearing my Batman t-shirt. Yes, and it is a chill out Sunday because I am melting today. But I must say I liked it. Haven't had a very productive day. Phil's here. Good old Phil, or young Phil, I don't know what he looks like. I'm sure he's a young and handsome man. But yes, anyway, tonight we have on the Rasco and Disco Beer Show the beer of the year so far. We're going to tell you what our beer of the year nominations so far. Mersey Beers, hello, welcome to Instagram Live. I'll wave to you, sir. Yeah, and I'm just waiting for disco as usual. You know, where I sing a song called "Waiting for Disco." Phil says it's middle-aged. Oh, you lie, sir. You lie. But yes, so we're going to go over what beers we've got, how we've progressed, and what the nominations are. I haven't got as many as I did last year, but last year is last year. So if you want to find out what I had last year, watch last year's show. But for now, you know, watch this show, please. Thanks. It helps the ratings. I am drinking much desired Czech lager, mostly because I'm in a bit tight get, and I just want to finish off what's in my stash. Is anyone getting sound? I had this issue last week. I did, honestly. Oh, but when I went back to the recording, it was fine. I've got a message from Disco. I don't know what's up with the bloody sound. I get quite annoyed at this every week. Can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? I'm just going to start writing comments. Maybe that's easier. Anyway, yes, I've waved at Disco. I'll invite Disco. Please tell me you got sound, everyone. Hello, everyone. Send request to Disco. I'm back. I'm here. All okay. So, one's okay.
Yes, that's good. I can hear you loud and clear.
That's good. Mersey Beers is here, and he said he had a problem with sound, and that got me worried.
Hi there. Hi, Thomas. Window Beer Reviews.
Hello, Window Beers Reviews. Phil's here. Middle-aged Phil, apparently. Well, I say he's lying. He's not middle-aged. But yes. How are you?
I'm moderately average, pretty terrible, but a really good actor and just pretending.
You're not very good at an actor.
Well, takes one to know one, son.
But excuse me.
Let's not go there, darling. Let's not go there. Keep it light. Keep it light. How are we doing?
Yes,
what are you drinking?
Yes. Well, I'm finishing off the Czech beers. I've been a tight git.
Good, man. No, fair play. No, you had a good box of them, so no problem.
Yeah. I sent out a plan of what we're going to do in the first few minutes, and I've completely forgotten what that plan is. So what are you drinking?
What am I drinking, sir? I'm drinking yet another, quite frankly, a stunning brew. Quite frankly, amazing brew from Wild Weather. I know I went on a bit about them in the last couple of weeks with the other beers, but this is the third beer from the order, and it's just as stunning as the other two, to be honest.
Nice.
Big
Nice.
flavors. Now, It's called Dude, Where's My Donut? And it's a chocolate-covered custard donut white stout.
Yeah?
I'll put that on there. Now I've worked out how to do the reverse thing when we put a show up on Instagram, on YouTube on Monday. Then people will be able to see it. So I can confidently show it to you now. Sorry for the people here on Instagram. Yeah, backwards, but that's what it is. Yeah. So I'm gonna. I opened it before the show because I put it on the table and just opened it and didn't think about waiting for when we were on it. But I had one of those oh wow moments, and I've done them before on the show and on reviews where you just open it and you can smell the beer. The aroma just wafts out. and it smells like Milky Bars, weirdly.
Yeah.
But I think that's the vanilla, so it's like a custardy aroma it develops into, but starts off as Milky Bars. Tastes a little bit of both there, but it's more white chocolate than milk chocolate or anything. Again, it's quite, so it confuses you that it's not a stout when you forget about white stouts, and what they are. But it's just an amazing. It is just really, it's nicely balanced. It's got loads of flavour going on, and it draws you back in every time. It's just mind blowing. And if you breathe in as you sip, you just get a big nose full of white chocolate and custard. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay, fair enough. That's sounds good then. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Cracking on with the news. I don't have much. GBBF is doing something, but the event is not happening. It's not necessarily like a virtual GBF either. It's like go and support your pubs. Do you know anything about this?
I saw it on the old Twitter there, and I was looking through it, and I think they were looking for people to try and sort of put some kind of event on at their local. Which I would love to have sort of tried to get stuff in, but obviously not at the moment. But yeah, I think they're looking for venues and pubs to get involved and sort of maybe put like a mini beer festival on. You get lots of pubs that might have like a 6-rack cask or something, side of the bar or whatever. Or even if you've got enough bumps in the pub, just put the extra special beers on for it, or just do it as a thing. So I think that's what they're looking at. See what happens. See what happens next month. I forgot this week that I missed out again. Every year comes around, I always do the Ealing Beer Festival memories, and that was this week. And I didn't actually. It came up on Facebook memories, but I didn't put anything out for it as such.
Shiza. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I thought that was next week. Oh dear.
It might have changed across sure in different weeks, but Monaco and Craft, hello, thanks for popping in, good to see you. And everybody else who's just joined you, I'm completely missed.
Yes, hello. Well, saying that about Ealing, I just want to know, the Ealing Blues and Jazz Festivals, who happen after the beer festival, are happening. So if you want to pop along to that, you can get tickets for that. Why the beer festival's not happening, I'm not too sure. But there you go. It's an outdoor event.
I'm guessing because it's more controllable. If you have a music event, you can just get everybody in and seated and spread out a little bit more.
Mersey Beats the sound as she was saying. Mate, don't give me a heart attack. Don't give me a heart
Definitely not. We have these technical difficulties every week. It wouldn't be a Rasco and Disco beer show if we didn't have some kind of pixelation of Rasco or some sound issues. So, but welcome along to Instagram, or welcome along to Instagram Live, Adam. We've been talking about it for so long, and you resisted and resisted. And you did say the other week on one of our comments on one of our YouTube uploads, what will happen first? You come into Instagram, or us going wholesale over to YouTube? And I know Rasco wants to go over there, and we got kind of over there because we upload this on a Monday. But I've kind of stepped away from doing like video beer reviews. I kind of prefer the live situation where we can talk about beer a little bit, because I know I've said it before, I kind of run out of words almost on like piece to camera videos, and I have to go and do it again, and it takes time, and then I don't get it right. Whereas here, if I stumble on words here, it doesn't matter so much. I can just sort of say I'm an idiot, and we can like retake. So we will get there. We'll get there. We'll work out what we're doing with YouTube at some point, Rasco. That's not a news piece. That's just a
Yeah. So, like I said, everyone, if you can, check out the Blues and Jazz Festival. I love them. I might be in attendance. I probably won't be because I've been busy. I'm silly busy. I'm still silly busy. I can't believe how silly busy I still am. But I am going Brew York, and then that's happening around the same. No, not Brew York, Brew London.
Brew London.
On Friday, on Friday afternoon. And I think I'm down on the beer mile. It took me 3 days to try. Thanks.
But you're the tech man. You know that. as I was saying earlier, Adam, yeah, no, thanks for giving us a shout out. So when we put it up to YouTube, finding the program online to reverse the image so you can actually see beers properly when we put it up on YouTube. So
Yes.
I took that advice last week for the first time, reversed it with our Czech beer show last week. I don't know about you, Raskar. I thought we had a good show last week. We really enjoyed that, didn't we, chatting to Pivo London?
I'm not boasting or anything. I think it was the best show ever. Yeah, please go check it out. It was good fun.
So I'm not sure Hopzine will agree with you, but
well, if he ever watches this back, yes, no, but it was a fantastic show. It was really informing, and fun. You know,
yeah,
found out a lot about beer. There were technical issues, but hey, that's kind of a trademark now.
Yeah.
So it's good.
I don't think where their Wi-Fi was, I think, a little bit, but it all got sorted out. It was all good, and the guys there were good and fun and engaging, showed us around the place. It was a lot of fun.
So yeah, by all means, go check it out. More on the news. No, I've got no news. Have you drunk any good beers this week?
I forgot to ask, Rasko, whilst we're talking about Czech, which Czech beer did you start off with? Which one did you go on to? Was it the same one as last week, or did you get a different one from the box?
I got this Albert one, Pilsner 12. Best before, and that's the best before date, not the ABV. I can't actually. 5%. Yeah, it's a Pilsner. It's called Albert, authentic Czech Pilsner, and it's very nice. Had nice, had a nice aroma to it.
Yeah,
it's going down well. I chilled it actually, unlike last week. We were straight out of the box. I chilled them because it's such a hot day.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty melting.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a well-deserved beer because I've been taking apart a shed this weekend, and we'll finish taking apart the shed tomorrow. Drama of my life. So yeah, it's got a nice little, almost subtle honey thing going on, and it's a nice bitter bite right at the end as it goes down. That's great. Just want to get this out of the way. Much respect to the England squad. I'm not going to even say anything bad. Look, you didn't press, you didn't attack, which I kind of predicted a couple of weeks ago could happen. But don't worry, I've got nothing bad to say. Well done, guys. Fair play to you. Yeah,
we got to the final. We didn't get smashed. We didn't get taken apart. We looked competent. We looked confident. You know, still only conceded like 1 goal in the game, 2 goals overall, apart from penalties. But some good penalties, great penalty saves, and the guys that scored the penalties. Just unfortunate with the 3 that didn't. But that's the way it goes. We shouldn't be surprised or upset anymore that we don't win on penalties. It's just England, isn't it? It's like every team has it. No. We need to stop that mentality. It's not. Don't make a fixation about it, because penalties is all psychological. It is the ultimate psychological test, and we make an obsession about it, we're only killing ourselves. We've won 2 penalty shootouts on recent years, and that's it. Move forward. Get into the mentality of not getting as far as penalties, of winning it in full time. Do you know what I mean? Once you go 1 goal up, take the team apart. You know, don't be sitting back. I did kind of say this when I, said what my favourite England game ever was. I don't see a ruthless aggression in this side, and they did sit back a bit and they didn't press. And at 60 minutes, I got very, very worried, and we were still 1-0 up. And that comes from the bench, much as anything. Yeah. But there you go. Well done, lads. Fair play to you. What else? Last night, I was out in my old neighbourhood, Shepherd's Bush. I was in the Defectors World. Oh yeah. And I never used to give that place much time. And I went in there yesterday, and I said, "Oh, we've got all these craft beers," and they didn't have anything on tap because their taps are broken. It was all bottles, and I went, "Wow, you got some amazing beers!" And what they had on the taps looked pretty good. And Beavertown, Magic Rock, and such and such and such and such, all the usual crowd.
Oh, wow, you never had this when I lived in this area. I said, yes, we did. I'm like, really? Yes, we did. Really? Yes, we did. So, yeah, okay, pub I should have paid a bit more attention to. Mersey Beers agrees with me. Southgate needs to improve in his attacking play, not counter-attack. Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree. Absolutely. So, yeah, I was kind of sat in there with some friends. It was nice not to be drinking in a pub by myself as usual, and gave them some beer recommendations. My friend of mine fell in love with 5 Points Jupiter, the Pale Ale, and another friend fell in love with Colonel's Pale, the 7.2% beer. I was drinking Colonel's Export Stout, and we were nappily knocking these back and having a great old time. So, Defector's World, if you're in the area, check it out. If you're not in the area, check it out.
Shepherd's Bush, yeah. I saw a thing on Twitter today. I kind of missed out on it a little bit, but there was a little movement on Twitter on about indie beer shop days. So,
yes.
Unfortunately, my indie beer shops didn't seem to partake. But it wasn't like a general thing. There was a bunch of, there was a whole list. There was a website and a whole list of different indie beer shops. Some very good shops on there, Caps and Taps in London, and a variety of others across the country, though. Unfortunately, by the time I saw it, it's too late to nip down to my local indie beer shop, Beer Asylum, or that to actually get anything or do anything about it. But that's one to look out for next year and put our favourite indie beer shops on the list. Yeah, anyone
who's watching the show, let us know what you got up to. Did you get involved now? Oh, Mersey Beers has just commented. My beers during the game, was better than the game itself. New Brew by Numbers, 05 Talus, and Armelo's in 2 litres growler. Oh, nice. Hello, Sarah. I'll wait.
Hi, Sarah.
Well, fair enough. I'm glad you enjoyed the beer.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. And that's all I've got. I don't know what else to say apart from this is the beer of the year so far show. Have you got your list?
I've got my list. Just before that, I wanted you saying about do some shout-outs as well. I wanted to do some shout-outs last night while she was out. I was watching on here on Instagram. There's a couple of good shows last night. I've got to go back and rewatch the start of them because I missed bits of both of them. But Virtual Pub Club last night was a really fun and interesting show. They had Overtone on. And the guy from Overtone was really a really good character. He had lots of information, lots of knowledge. He had a great story about they was doing a trip to Scandinavia and ended up in Tromsø, which I think is Norway, but a tiny little town. And this amazing bar they were in that had 30-odd craft beer taps, and he ended up he was there for the weekend and went through all of them. But yeah, I've got to go back and watch the rest of that. But that Virtual Pub Club with Overtone. Another one I watched last night, and I do try and catch these guys. They haven't been on for a while. You're Lush Hops and Jack Booker. One for the road.
Yeah.
They had quite a good show on Instagram last night. They'd done the first ever interview. I don't know where they got the idea from, but they did their first ever interview with Premier Hop, which is a bottle shop in Leeds. We were also really just really characterful, and they had lots of information and lots of beer chat, beer knowledge, and drunk some really good beers. So yeah, that's my 2 shout-outs for other beer reviewers to watch, or beer shows rather to watch out for.
Oh yeah, no, fair you go. We'll watch them back on them. They're quite good. Yeah, fair enough. And if I've got nothing else to say, or if I had any shout-outs, I don't remember what they were.
You wanted me to beer comps because we were talking about beer giveaways last week, and you wanted me to do them, but unfortunately it's been quite light this week. I've only entered the one competition on Instagram this week. A guy goes by the hashtag of A Journey Through Beer, and again I only saw somebody else who we follow, obviously, so it came up on things. So I joined it. He was doing 1,000 follower giveaway at A Journey Through Beer, and as is traditional, when you get that many numbers, lo and behold, a fake spam account popped up and tried to follow us. And I actually got reeled in because I didn't realise. I thought it's just one extra T or something. And I thought, I'm sure I'd already followed him because I've entered the thing. So I followed it again. And then you get the message, oh, join, go on it. And oh, no, that's definitely spam. So I messaged him and he was cool. Yeah, we know about it. But yeah. So that's the only downside of Instagram beer giveaways. But I do that one. The only other one I got is over on Twitter, Car Scale Week. They often do little giveaways. And do you remember I won this glass from them last year. So they've got one over on Twitter, which is just enter a picture about a pub and it does good food, so beer and food combination. So I'll go through and do that one again tomorrow. But yeah, that's all I've got competition-wise this week, Rasco.
Fair enough. That's a good one. That's a good one, mate.
One more thing. There's one more announcement I have for you.
What?
And if you saw my post yesterday, little bit impromptuly organised this week. But it's not a particularly special day. But on Tuesday, because of the date, I thought I'd do another quick disco day beer session. So I've got some beers have been really quiet. If you remember last year, I had 20 different beers with disco in the name over 2 different sessions. And I missed a couple around like January and February. Whiplash had one, Disco Mystic, and there's one from a brewery in Penge in South London that had a disco named beer. But apart from that, I haven't seen too many. I don't really go like looking for them that much. I'm not on Untapped to go through search, and I do a little bit of searching when if I'm looking at beers. I'm on bottle shops like websites and that. I'll type disco in the search bar and see what comes up. Nothing come up that much. But yeah, I found a couple of weeks. So I got them in from Good Chemistry. I got one from Full Circle, and Full Circle was one in last year, so they've got a similar one to that. And I've got some Polly's in. I put the Full Circle delivery up when it came in on Twitter, and somebody called Laura, who we follow, and we often interact with on Craft Beer Hour on Tuesday night, said, "Oh, have you seen Polly's have got a new beer out apparently called Disco?" So, of course, I went straight up, Sarah, why is Tuesday special? I'll let everybody work that one out. I'm not, it's not special for me. It's just a Tuesday, but I thought I'd do it anyway. So she said, yeah, Polly's have got a new beer out with disco in the name. So I went on their website. There it was. It's a dipper, which is not my thing. And that's the only reason I drink dippers is because they got disco in the name pretty much. So I banged a small order in. I hope that will be here in time for Tuesday. But I've also got one. I got one in the other month. I saw it come out from Low Key Barrel Project. Beer called Disco Demolition Derby. A big stout, barrel-aged stout. So I'll do a little mini disco day on Tuesday, I think. Unless the Polly's doesn't get here on Wednesday. But yeah, something to look out for. It's a bit of content. It's something to do. And these things amuse me. Do you know what I mean? Just like all beers with disco in the name. It's a nickname I was given. It's not my fault. I haven't done a lot to dissuade people from doing it, but Rasco set up the channel with this nickname, so Disco Beers, If I find any with Rasco in the name, I'll let you know, Rasco.
Please do. According to Monaco and Craft, who also reviews beers on his own Instagram, check him out, please. It says Overtones have been on fire, and Polly's have a new one coming out called Disco Inflator.
Not only is it coming out, it's coming to Disco Towers next week. I put the order, that's the one I was told about. I put the order in, I thought, that's why I put the things out on Twitter. And I do say, if anybody sees any beers with disco in the name, let me know. And I'm a little bit of a mug for that sort of thing, but I won't spend too much. But, it's a way of finding new beers. And I know you've had a couple of Polly's, I think, haven't you? Anyway, I haven't got into Polly's yet. Mostly on cost grounds, mostly on beer type. I haven't got any stouts from them. They're all like pale ales and stuff. This is not pale ales, IPAs, and dippers, which is not entirely my thing. So I won't always spend the money. But if it's got disco in the name, I'll take the punt just for the laugh, just for the crack, And I'm fair certain Polly's are going to be good because everybody raves about them. So do you know what I mean? I'll definitely give it a go.
Yes. So, shall we crack on with that? Boom.
Yes, go on then. On to beer of the year so far. It's been a bit of a crazy.
Indeed.
we've had a few beers. We've got a lot in. So do you want to? What do you want to do? Do you want to run through your list, see what we got? Have you got a long list like you had last year?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Cheers, Paul.
9 beers.
9 beers. No, that's right. Yeah, Monaco. It's a West Coast, so it'll be it will be a bit more up my street than a hazy custard IPA will be up my street. This is a custard stout, white stout. But yeah, West Coast. I had a West Coast the other month from Lords. Was a West Coast one. I really enjoyed it. So it's a bit more kind of orange pithy. So hopefully we shall see. We shall see on Tuesday. Rasco, go for it. Go on. And what are you going to do? You're just going to read them all out? I tell you what, if anybody recognises beers, let us know. And if they're your Beer of the Year nominations too, let's see.
Yeah, how many you got?
I've got 5 at the moment. Sorry, 6 at the moment. I've got 6 in contention. I'll explain mine when I do them, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you want to, I'll do a couple, then you do a couple, and then finish up.
It'll mix up a bit, yeah.
Okay. At number 1, it broke my dry January when we did our first game of What's a Minute. It is Pressure Drop. It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. 10% stout.
Yeah, there's bound to be a Pressure Drop on the list, wasn't there?
Yes, without a doubt. And it was gorgeous. I remember it had this lovely gloopy look to it and a bit of a shine to it. It was dark as well. So the light was just bouncing off it. It was beautiful just to look at. Nice and aroma. It was all nice. And I've got some notes. I've gone a bit electronic with my handwritten notes and electronic notes.
Done what? Hang on.
Headphones keep cutting out, and now the sound's coming. I'm actually going to switch that.
Please bear with us. Normal service, such as it is, will be returned shortly. Sounds like he's DJing some electronic music, isn't it?
I am. Right.
Go on, son.
Danny. Can you hear me?
I can now, sir, loud and clear.
Good. Right, I can hear you off my phone, not my headphones.
They just love the technology. Go on, go for it.
And here you are. Yeah, it's a nice, it's very rich, cool, fudgy and nutty, and it's all of that lovely sweet taste. It was a true stout, a lovely bit of work by Pressure Drop. Truly enjoyed it. That is number 1 for Beer of the Year, and it got on the list because it is just a fine crafted beer. Unit number 2, Mad Yank. If those who watched the show, they were on the interview, and I tried one of their beers I had left over from the order, called Your Coconuts Offend Me.
Oh, big call. Big call in Beer of the Year. That's a big beer, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a toasted coconut marshmallow imperial stout at 15.6%. Mad Yank had this thing about their beers. Oh, hang on. Monaco Craft has said, no, there's some comments we've missed. I'm going to have to go at my Instagram page, a beer year so far for you. Oh, you're going to have to go, Monaco. Brewman's stout is very good. Galloping really came. Yes, I've had that one as well. And yeah, so here I was. Mad Yank, Your Coconuts Offend Me, toasted coconut marshmallow imperial stout, 15.6%. Absolutely gorgeous. And you'd think something like that would be gloopy and thick. And as I said in the interview with him, I was convinced, you have a drink like that, it has to have a thick body. This doesn't, and it's amazing, and it's beautiful to smell. It really is. You can just spend some time just smelling it. So that's got in, mostly because I love the fact it's thin. And it's gorgeous. It's flawless. In fact, do you want?
There's another show we really enjoyed because we enjoyed drinking along. Obviously, you was interviewing them because we couldn't get three people on at that point. But it's a big beer to put in as beer of the year. It's 15.3%, wasn't it?
15.6.
15.6. That's one for Ballman actually on his Friday challenge. If you can get some Mad Yanking, have a look. There's 12% No Evil Stout and Imperial Stout, and there's 15.6 Coconuts Offend Me. Worth it.
Yeah. Do you want to do one?
No, go on, do another one, sir.
All right. And in this one, I've mentioned this a lot. Palmer Islands, one man, sorry. I'm going to have to look it up on the computer just to make sure I get the name right, because here we go. Palmer Islands, one man conga.
Great beer name.
It's an Imperial Pineapple Mango Passion Fruit Sour at 10%. Those who watch the show regularly know I am not a sour enthusiast, but this was absolutely gorgeous. I had it live on the show. It was truly fruity. The flavour of the mango came straight through instead of the passion fruit, and if I think it had a good smell to it. The reason it's got it wasn't very sour-like. Sour beers repel me a bit. I'm not keen on cider. I had this horrible, to me it's horrible. It's kind of a burn and citrusy, not citrus, wrong word. It's just something like sours I don't like. I just can't get on with them. This didn't have that. And this kind of changed my concept. So I thought maybe I'm starting to like sours. I tried a few other sours, didn't get on with them. So there's something special about this because it's not very sour-like.
Baldwin says, yeah, looking, checking out Mad Yank. Tone Disco sent you. Rascal Disco sent you. But yeah, it's worth looking at the website. We haven't seen too much from Mad Yank this year, but they're making plans. We've got to catch up with them again soon, I think. Monaco and Craft got that one on your recommendation. It's like Umbongo in a 10% can. That's the
that is a far better review than I can do it, mate. Yeah. Well done. Yes. Do you want to do one now, or do you want me to do another? Because I've just
moved on. I will just step in a step. I've moved on because I was going to do this one first, but because I opened the white stout earlier, it's I'm not sure if it's going to quite work with the flavours, but it's done okay actually, because this is a session pale ale, 4.3% from Good Chemistry. It come in the that doesn't work so well under the light, and they're horrendous to photograph under the light as well. It's called Kokomo Weekday, 4.3% session IPA, and I do prefer session IPAs because they're a bit muted on the grapefruit and citrus. It's a little bit like a can of lilt, alcoholic lilt in a way. It's got that kind of grapefruity, little bit of pineapple going on. It's actually really nice. It's not too heavy on the citra or the citrus. It hasn't got too much bite, and I kind of prefer that sort of thing. It also is very similar to a lot of other session IPAs, which has kind of always been my point about beers and IPAs and pale ales. They're all not the same. They all have but I'm not developed enough to notice the individual kind of nuances of different hops and stuff. Very nice, very palatable, and it's something that I could drink on a fairly regular basis, if I had access to it regular. But it's it doesn't stand out, but it's a very good beer, which I suppose neatly would bring me on to my first beer of the year shout, which this could be actually, because whatever comes up furthest closest in the memory, most recent, is what I remember. So like you're putting one in like the Mad Yank one we had in February?
Yes.
So it's good that you've remembered it and noted everything down so you can talk about it. But my first entry is going to be the one of the most recent beers I had. And I still don't know what criteria you use for beer of the year. And it doesn't necessarily matter. It's down to the individual, right? And we said this last year. It's just whatever, do you know what I mean, grasps your attention, or whatever you can remember, or like notes that you go with, whatever. Because we're not saying this is a better beer than any of the others. We're just saying this is something that we remember for.
Well,
Right.
I've said it. Something that usually challenges your concept of beer gets in there, and most notable of that is Mad Yank and Pomona Islands with their sour, because I don't like sours.
Good point. I mean, mine's similar. Mine's more something that I'd happily get again and again. I like to try and do ones. I like to put ones in where I've had more than just one of it. So I did think about Coconuts Offend Me, but I thought, well, I've only had the one bottle of that. So it's not something I could drink regular. I like to put in beers I could have more than one of on a regular basis, which is why my first one's actually in here. And I know this is a bit of a cop-out. You're going to hate this. But it is actually this Brew York Karma Chameleon. And it's... I had it on the show a couple of weeks ago, actually, with Rob from Hopsy, and we asked the question, is this going on my list? Is it that good a beer because it was free, because I won it in that competition on Instagram, talking about Instagram competitions as it were, or is it a genuinely good beer? And I think it's a genuinely good beer. It's not one I'd normally go for. It's a 3.7% American Pale Ale. I would go for it because of the name, Karma Chameleon. Love Brew York's puns. But it was a very drinkable beer. I've had loads of them, obviously, and they got me through the football. To be fair, I had a couple of these every game. Didn't have to think about the beer too much. There was lots of flavours going on, lots of tropicality, lots of actually really nice grapefruit, much like this one, actually, where the grapefruit is not too heavy. So I'm putting it on there because of the abundance I've luckily had of it. Contrast with something different. My other shout is going to be McColl's Beat the Guard. Now, I had this last year. It's a beetroot Beer de Guard. So it's like a beetroot Belgian ale. I don't know too much about Beer de Guard, but you don't have to like beetroot. And I know you hate beetroot, Vasco, don't you? You don't like it at all. I don't mind beetroot in a salad or whatever. It's quite good. This doesn't outwardly taste of beetroot that much. It's just got a kind of fruity tang, but not a sour tang. It's like a sweet, the sweetness of beetroot, and a sort of savoury kind of taste to it. It's bright red. Got reviews up on it on the page. And it was actually a really drinkable beer. It's quite heavy at 7.1%, but it's quite light and drinkable. So I'm putting on it because it's a lot of fun. This is the 2021 version, which is 7.1%. Last year was 7. Couldn't tell the difference, to be honest. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a really good beer. Could do a lot of different things with that. That could go in like, I did that beer cocktail things. That could work in that because it's got that kind of fruity, sour, savoury component. So I enjoyed that one, so I'm putting it on the list. I don't know where to put them now. I'm going to put them over there. So that's my first two. You've got a lot more, so do you want to do your next three?
Yeah, I'll do a couple more, yeah. It's another Pomona Island. It's Superman's big sister. I had it when Ken Beer reviews on the show.
Did you not do that one last year?
No.
Okay.
Matt had it, but I didn't nominate it. That was another Pomona Island and a collaboration with Beak. That was the power of independent truckers. Pomona Island have been doing lots of great beer for me personally. This, as soon as I had it, I knew it was a beer of the year nomination. And you both said, "Oh, you just had it, and you're giving it a nomination." So I had it again. I thought it is worthy of just getting that nomination. It is kind of very good, and it's 11%. It's a mole stout, and it's got a few apparently blended Mexican chilies in it. Yes, chilies in it. I am reading this off the internet because I did have some interesting notes. I didn't necessarily get that chili, but it was very succulent and very nice to have, and very passive fruity things and passive smoky, and real depth to it. Wasn't like the Mad Yank where it's thin, but it had a real depth to it, and it was fucking gorgeous. So I had to give it a nomination. Yes, and that's that. So that's the Pomona Island out. Do you want to hear the next one?
Yes, please.
Siren Haunted House Barrel Aged Imperial Milk Stout.
Okay, I missed that one.
Yeah, I didn't do it on the show. I put a story up for it, and yeah, I had to make sure I remember it. It is a fabulous barrel aged one. You really get this bourbon sense to it, the whole drink, and I didn't get the milky notes in it, if I'm honest, but it was so bloody enjoyable. Coconut as well. Didn't really feel. Don't recall coconut being a bit mild of, but it was just so powerful. It's not. It's a high percentage beer as well. It's a 13%.
Wow.
Yeah. If anything, I'm going with high nominations of ABV this year for some reason. And but the smell of it as well, just proper bourbon. It's like it should be bourbon beer, if I'm honest. But at the same time, just great. Just great. Really just great from start to finish. I wanted another. I was feeling a bit tipsy after that one. So I didn't. But I wish I had. Wasn't cheap either, if I'm honest. It was quite noticeably expensive, but it was great. Got it from the Art and Craft. I was really upset they didn't have any more when I went back a few days later. That's his life. Yes, go on. You hit me up with one now, because I've got only two.
Yeah, what am I going to do? I'm going to go. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this one. I talked about it on the show before, actually. With my brewery of the year last year, my winner for brewery of the year 2020, mostly because I had a lot of beers from them and I enjoyed them all. I haven't seen so much from them this year. They've been a little bit quiet after Christmas. I haven't had so many orders, but this one is one where I enjoyed it, and I went back for, in fact, more than once. I also got some from from one of my local beer delivery guys, Micro Beer Crate, but it's Heretic from Brass Castle. And it's a saffron and cracked black pepper Belgian blonde. It's another one of those beers when I opened it and went, wow. It's just, the pepper is odd on it, but black pepper is kind of a flavour that goes against sweet. It's got that sweet, savoury balance. The sweetness comes from, I assume it's Hefeweizen yeast because it tastes kind of banana-y. So it's got a kind of savoury, the saffron helps with the savouriness as well. So it's got a kind of sweet banana-iness, and a kind of savoury, like peppery, herby note to it. I really, really enjoyed that, and I went back for some more. Another one that's really, because it's got silver on the label, it's really terrible to picture underneath the lights. But yeah, really, really enjoyed that one. Had several of them. All comment?
Yeah. Yep, from Bullman's. The whole Siren Fairground series is amazing. I got to try 3 Helter Skelters edged our Haunted House for me both a race. Mate, I only got the Haunted House, sadly, but gorgeous. I agree. It's a strong contender.
We're massive Siren fans. You know, obviously goes way back a couple of years to like when we first sort of found them when 2018 GBBF Gold winners with Broken Dream, and I think we'd had a few before, but then we really got into them again this year. I've kind of, because I had so much last year, and I was looking through the boxes the other day. I've got about half a dozen orders from Siren boxes last year. I haven't had so many this year. I've sort of steered away from them because there's so much else out there. But Siren is a great shout. It should be in Beer of the Year. There was a couple I considered putting in, and sort of like and hard. These aren't hard and fast rules, are they? Though really, these could all change. There could be a whole bunch of beers in the second half of the year that could come through.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and some might get knocked out. I could even have another look later on in the year and maybe swap some out because there's been so many beers this year. I've got to go through them again. But yeah, Siren is great in there. Have you got another one?
I do have another few. Right, this is the only one which I had on tap. It's from Keg. I had it in the Southampton Arms a couple of weeks ago. It is Cloudwater Multi-Dimensional Dipper.
Ooh,
at 8%. I had it twice, if I recall. Or was that just me in another dimension? It was really flavoursome. It was very fruity. It did have some bitterness to it, but it was so subtle and it was so complimentary. I say what you want about Cloudwater. Maybe they are part of the hype train, hype beer thing, but they know how to make a good beer. They really do know how to make a good beer. And it had all the notes. Mosaic was involved and in the flavour of it, and I was just so happy to be drinking it from a tap in a pub, a great pub too.
Yeah.
So that was what stuck out for me on that night out, and I had a lot of good beer that night, and I wasn't hungover. I wasn't thinking of hangover, which is surprising. A little more hungover today, which is bizarre. Yes. So there you go. That's it. There isn't really much more to say about it because it was just so well refined in its taste. I mean, dippers, sometimes I find them a bit too overpowering. I mean, they're perfectly fine, but this wasn't. This was just spot on.
Yeah.
So it got a nomination.
Fair play. It might be more interesting this year because last year it was all stuff we'd had at home, all bottles and cans, really. Obviously, you've done more going out than I have by 100%. So in the second half of this year, it might get a bit more interesting whether we start getting back into pubs and finding more, cask and tapped beers in pubs that we might want to think about. And it'll be different how we put that in against cans and bottles and stuff. It's because we have a lot of discussion about this, don't we, during the year?
Well, yes, but beer is ultimately beer. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not in a...
Okay, is that all of your list? Is that all of yours?
No. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm just going to put one in quickly now. This
do it.
A bit of a strange thing to do, maybe. But if Borman, if you're still there, I'd be interested to know about your thoughts about this because I know we briefly chatted with Adam about it. If you're still there, but I'm going to put something on the list that probably is a bit strange. When we've still got access to all these like really excellent beers from Europe and from overseas, and there's a lot of classics that probably should be on our Beer of the Year list, but I don't put them on there because they're kind of ubiquitous, easy to find. Even like the Czech beers we had last week, a lot of the German beers. I did briefly consider putting Warhenstefiner, which Adam actually put his first post up about today, because I've had so much of it, and it was amazing, a really tasty, easy, just like a fridge filler go-to Hefeweizen. But I'm going to put this one on the list because I really enjoyed it, and again, I went back for more. It's a 500ml bottle, and it's from Beer Brothers in Preston, and it's a Dunkelweizen. So, like I say about all the German beers that we do like anyway, like it's strange to have one from Lancashire. 5.5%. Again, because it's a darker wit beer, but it's a dark beer. But it's not overly hoppy. It's got lovely like sultana notes. It's a bit like that. Do you remember last week I did Bohemia Regent Dark? Similar sort of thing. Yeah. Obviously the Czech version. This is more German version, but brewed in Lancashire, and amazingly good value. To be fair, it was a really good price to get it down from there. I really enjoyed it, so I got some more in. I think I had about 10 of these in total. And another one, it was one I just put in the fridge. It was a fridge filler. If I was doing something online, like a Zoom, I could just reach in and have a beer. I didn't have to think about, didn't have to review. I could just sip and neck and enjoy. So it's going on the list because I really enjoyed it. It might not win, I have to say, because it's a nomination. It's a consideration because of the way I do Beer of the Year norms. I just really enjoyed this beer.
Fair enough. Not everything I nominate, I kind of have a feeling where it's going to go. But like I said, a few good beers might just come along and knock it off the list. You just never know. But that's it. There is one beer I want to nominate and say, but I haven't got the full name of it, and I don't want to sound like a complete idiot. It's from last week, actually. It's one of the Czech beers.
Oh, okay.
It's Canik, but I don't know which Canik. I think it was this Canik. I say that, but you can't say. I think it was this one. It was like clouds going down your mouth, like lovely clouds, flavour and taste. It was an absolutely stunning lager, and this one stood out from the rest. They did say it was going to be brilliant, and it was. It lived up to its name, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So it's going to get it as soon as I find out what the full name. Because I want to be sure.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I should have looked at it.
We sometimes do another one in the autumn, don't we? We did last year. We did another one in the autumn just to kind of catch up and like maybe refine the list a little bit. It was mostly because you had 13 beers on the list in June last year, so you had to refine it a little bit. Additions.
Yeah, I did. That's.
Have you got any?
Then one more.
One more. Go on, him. I got two more.
It is S43.
Okay.
You can't. I don't know how you pronounce this one. It says it's DCLXUI.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Yeah. It was fucking gorgeous, unsurprisingly. I have in the past been a bit critical of S43. Their marketing thing I find a bit tedious. It's what can I say? It's a smoky Russian Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Now, some smoke beers just have this metallic residue going on this. This was just pure smoke. When you got halfway through it, you know, it didn't come out right immediately. It gradually grew into it. And that's amazing when a beer does that. I really enjoyed it. Had a kind of wax top.
One in the bottle, wasn't it? Yeah, I just remembered that. I remember you did that on the show, I think, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap, but it was absolutely gorgeous and a trendsetter. I do like smoke beers. this is a leader in smoked beers, if I'm honest.
It's another 12%, so it's definitely on your list of big beers this year. So
Yeah. And that for me concludes beer of the year so far. Yourself, sir?
yeah, I think I've got an S43 coming in next week. I think it's one that's, look, it's not a new one, but I've got another delivery coming in next week from Hops and Dots, which is a bit brewer up in the northeast. I've been tracking for a while and haven't really got around to getting in yet. But
Yep. Monochrome Craft. Sorry, we missed your comment. Cloudball, I forgot my name is my BOTY so far. Sabo and Mosaic Dipper. Sarbon isn't for everyone, but Mosaic is perfectly partner. Fair enough. That's good to hear. I like it.
So my last two, Rasco, I don't think are probably going to be any surprise to you because I have talked about them quite a lot on this show over the last course of this year. The first one is one that I've talked about most recently, and I've only had 2 cans. I believe I'm getting some more cans in. I'm not sure it's actually currently available on the website. I think it's sold out, but the one I was banging on about the other weeks for being that amazing, Cake Batter Swing from Wild Weather again. I was talking about them at the top of the show. I'd probably, either of those other 2 beers I've had from Wild Weather, the one I did at the top of the show, Dude, Where's My Donut, and also the one I had last week, John Peel, which is a banana IPA, a banana milkshake IPA. Phenomenal. Go on, one more. Hey.
Apologies for that, everyone.
As I was saying about the other week, was a dark cherry and vanilla black lager. So obviously coming off a dark lager, a dark beer off the Dunkelweizen, it tasted like a pastry stout. And as Craig from Kent Beer Reviews pointed out the other day on live stream, have they invented a pastry lager? Not a term, but it could be. But with the dark cherry, not so much on the vanilla, but it was just like it was like a Black Forest Gatto, to be fair. Now, which brings me neatly on to my next beer and the last one in there, and it's the one I said about at the very start of the year.
Yeah.
And I said I'd done it in January. I think I got them in at the back end of last year, and I had one. And I got several more in because I enjoyed it. And I said as far back as January this was going to be a Beer of the Year nomination. So I'm putting it on there because I said that. But unfortunately, I have another can. So I'm going to give it another go tonight just to confirm. And I have a feeling it's going to taste very similar to that Wild Weather one. Because it is a pastry stout. It's called Black Forest. And from what I remember when I had it in January, and I've saved this can, so we'll see how it keeps, and I'm sure it will be all right, best before 2023. This is a 7% pastry stout, right? So from what I remember, this tastes and drinks much like that dark lager does from Wild Weather. So, cheers. Little bit of chocolate on the nose. It doesn't have quite the same aroma as that does. That had a lot of cherry and chocolate on the nose.
Tension's killing.
Absolutely. It's, as I said when I had it on the show, first of all, and I've reviewed it since in posts or Instagram posts. It's another wow moment. It's just
wow.
It's thick, smooth, got that chocolatey goodness. I always use the hashtag chocolatey goodness. It tastes very similar to that Wild Weather. Very similar. I would struggle to separate the two. I believe I've got some more Wild Weather coming in next week because a very important person has managed to secure some for me. for an important event that's happening on Tuesday. It's not important. I don't really care about it, but got me some presents. So thank you, Sarah. But that I think is available again on. Mad Dog Brewing. I forgot to say Mad Dog Brewing in South Wales. It's a Welsh beer. They nearly went out of business last year. They had a little hiatus and then found some investment and have started brewing beers again. Brewed some really, really good beers.
Comment from Monaco and Craft. The Cloudwater Black Forest Stout was insane. 440ml can was too much, really. 330 would have been fitted better. And we have another guest joining us. Big Man's Beer Blog. Hello, Big Man.
Hello. They're actually slightly different, the two. I'm saying I'm comparing it to the dark lager, but that's more kind of, it's a little bit bourbon biscuits and Black Forest Gatto, but it's got that lovely pastry kind of cakey kind of chocolatey goodness to it. That one's got a better cherry flavour. The cherries are here, but they're slightly sour cherry. But it's a beer I really enjoy. So I don't know, I've got to say, these two, this one and the Wild Weather are contenders, are the main contenders. Now, that said, Rasko, in my disco beer order from Full Circle this week, I've got a 10% Black Forest Imperial Stout.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so there's going to be a third, well, I don't want to say too much, like, to be fair, both Adam from Mersey Beers and Hopsy commented on Full Circle and said how good Full Circle are. I think so too. I had a lot of good Full Circle beers last year, including the disco beers. But I think there might be a third beer of the year contender with cherry and chocolate next week.
Oh.
It's not one of the disco beers, by the way. It's called Beware of the Squeaker, I think. But yeah, I don't know when I'm going to try that one, but obviously it was a little bit too early to try it tonight as well, but to get in the nominations. But
comment from Monaco and Craft is, would you order a pint or a half of it?
You know, that's a very good shout. That's a very good question. Of this, I would happily order a fucking stein of this. I mean, it's a stupid thing to say, but yeah, if I was just having one beer and this was either on or in a can in the fridge, I would order a pint of this and happily enjoy it. It's a bit of this one because this one is a pastry stout compared to, say, the dark lager that tastes like a pastry stout. That one I could have a couple of, like, at the beginning of the evening. It would mess up your taste buds a little bit. This one is more of an end of the evening sipper. Because it is a bit more heavy. That one's a lager. It's probably slightly lighter, slightly easier to drink. Although there is that pastry stout, that cakey Black Forest Gatto mouthfeel. This one's got the same mouthfeel, but it is a heavier stout. And again, it's 7%. That one's only 6.2%. Yeah, but this one's 7. But yeah, two really good, big flavoured beers. And I'm waxing lyrical. Maybe I'm waxing lyrical too much about it. Maybe everybody else thinks, what are you talking about doing? Two breweries that are probably, I don't know, less well known than, you know, your big beers that are on your list, Rasko, big breweries that are on your list. Choose it by just flavour, just taste, things I can talk about, and just enjoyment. Like I say, that wow moment. And both of those beers were just that wow moment of, okay, I'm enjoying this. I could order a pint of this quite happily.
Well, fair enough. We just don't do beer of the year, but we do brewery of the year. I've got an idea of what I'm going with at this point, but I'm gonna, if you're all right, if you want to, go ahead. But I'm going to remain silent on my breweries of the year so far.
Okay. No, that's fine. I mean, I'm guessing you've got more than one contender possibilities.
maybe.
Have you got one out and out? Oh, okay, no, that's fine. A little bit of mystery and intrigue. We'll come back to that later in the year and see what challenges that. I mean, I to be fair, I know we did this last year. We did Brewery of the Year. Who was your Brewery of the Year last year?
Mad Yank.
It was, so yes, exactly. All right. My Brewery of the Year last year was Brass Castle because of the output and the amount that they'd done and the amount of orders I'd got in from them and how many of their beers I'd enjoyed. I hadn't actually, do you know what? Even though we was talking about this, I hadn't put together a list of Brewery of the Year. Brass Castle will still be on my Brewery of the Year list, even though I've had slightly less from them in the last 6 months. But the ones I've had have been pretty good. They've been different because I always go for their different beers. They've got a great core range, Brass Castle, like the Bad Kitty, and you had one, Sunshine. The Sunshine one, the Hoppy Pale Ale. But yeah, Brass Castle will be on my Brewery of the Year list. Wild Weather are definitely on my Brewery of the Year list. Arguably so are Mad Dog, because I've had several. I had an order this year from them, and they got lots of good beers. I think McColl's as well, because I had a lot of other beers of theirs. I got an order in from them, only the one order this year, but the Let's Eat Pies and Talk About Men's Mental Health, which was on the Euro beer list from Siren, as was Cake Batter Swing. That's the way I found it, off Siren's Euro beer names list. Turning Point of definitely on my Brewery of the Year list. I considered putting their custard series on there, but there's 3 different beers. There's pink matter custard, yellow matter custard, and dark matter custard. And to be fair, that one I did at the start of the show from Wild Weather tastes very similar to this range because of the custard in it. Dude, Where's My Donut? Is a custom donut, and they taste very similar to that. Because there was 3 beers, and I won these. Again, I won them in that online their birthday party. So having won Brew York's beer and put them on the list, I'm like, because there's 3 different types of this one, I'm like, I could put them on the list still, I don't know, but yeah, Turning Point as a brewery have been brilliant this year. They were last year as well, to be fair. So I'm going to go Turning Point, I'm going to go Wild Weather, I'm going to go Mad Dog. Probably, yeah, I'm going to go Brass Castle. I'm going to go 4 for now. I think there's others that will get added to that, but because I didn't do an actual list, that's my shouts for Brewery of the Year. Like I say, a little bit, because last year I did Disco Beer of the Year as well. Unless a lot comes out late summer, I haven't had so many Disco Beer of the Years. I think my Disco Beer of the Year was Beer Hut Brewing. Who's it gone all up here, wasn't it? Oh, here we go, Disco Juice. Because I liked the other one with my Disco Beer of the Year, so Disco Juice, that was my beer of the year for Disco Beers last year. But you're gonna remain tight-lipped, are you, on your Brewery of the Year?
Well, if those who watch the show regularly, you know which brewery gets a lot of mentioning from me this year. It's pretty one-sided at the moment, if I'm honest. So I'm going to hold out on
beer festival next month.
I'm going to one this month, and I'm going to one next month.
No. I'm trying to fish for your possible Brewery of the Year. If it's who I think it is, they're holding a beer festival next month at the brewery and inviting loads of other breweries down, including Wild Weather, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at your fairly localish to you.
Oh, really? That's news to me. Who is it?
So I'm just fishing for information now, basically, because you won't say. So,
Who is it?
your local brewery on an industrial estate by the tram stop.
Signal or Anspach Hot Day?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're not nominated. They're not nominated.
Okay. Okay, but well, that's the question then. They were putting together a beer festival and inviting loads of other breweries down at the Beddington Farm Festival. It's called, but that's the name of the estate where they're on, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, man, check it out. Check it out on their Twitter and their Instagram. They've been announcing breweries all week.
Oh, right. I guess I should go along to that.
I guess you should check it out, my friend. Yeah, sorry, newsflash.
Yeah.
And special, they're doing a beer festival at their brewery in Croydon.
There you go. There. I keep hassling them, actually, because they've done some kind of a London Porter nude beer, and it's not in Croydon. I keep hassling, is it in Croydon? No, it's in the Pigeon. It's in this pub in London. It's there. But it's not in Croydon. And I'm like, thanks, you know.
The first pour that outside is in Newcastle somewhere, I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Beddington Farm Festival, August the 7th.
Okay.
Anspach, obviously, beers, Brewed by Numbers, Drop Project, Bullfinch, Elusive are there, Orbit, Solvay Society, and I saw today Wild Weather are there as well. So you could go and check out these Wild Weather beers that I'm banging on about so much if they bring them.
I will, providing this doesn't clash with anything else I've got on. I've got
about 3 weeks, I think. It's nearly bloody July. I don't know how that's come around so quick.
August the what, you said?
7th.
Oh, I can do that. I can do that.
Check it out, my friend.
Yeah, I think I will.
Go and speak to the guys at Wild Weather. Ask them how they get a dark lager tasting like a pastry stout. They might. That'd be interesting to have that one. They might have the banana one, the banana milkshake IPA, because they've done an imperial version of that, like a 7% version of banana milkshake IPA, which sounds amazing.
Yes, fair enough. Well, I think that concludes this show. I am burning out quick. So thank you for everyone joining in the comments and watching and putting up with us. We appreciate it every week.
Actually, absolutely. And also, if you're watching this afterwards, if you get to this point and you're still watching, thank you very much, because we'll put it up on Instagram afterwards. You can watch it throughout the week. And hopefully, I guess, Monday, I'll be able to do it by Monday. I'll put it up on YouTube as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, also thank you very much. Leave us comments. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. What are your beer of the years? Beers of the year? Beer of the year. Which is your beer of the year? Nominations, great shout. Thank you for everybody who shouted out tonight. Good to see you. Adam from Mersey Beers, check him out. Good to see you. Monaco and Craft, thank you for weighing in. Go check out his Instagram. Ballman, thank you very much. Check out his YouTube. He's on Instagram as well. Thank you to everybody who's weighed in, and we'll see you soon on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook.
Like and subscribe, everyone.
Cheers, Rasco. Have a good week, sir. We'll see you soon. Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Believe enough to lose control. Bye-bye.